Good evening, beautiful people. Good evening. Okay, already throwing cards out. It's Thursday night, and I was just like, I need to probably do a Valentine's Day weekend forecast. And I thought about using one of the love decks and decided I wasn't going to use a love deck. It was like sometimes we need just some good, what I call old-fashioned ancestor and angel consejo direction. Going with that one. So that we can gain a little clarity about the things going on. And you know, the world is a mess right now. I mean, literally, the world is a mess. It is very out of balance, as it is getting rid or just kind of clearing out things that we need to clear out so that we can healthily, in a healthy way, move forward. Okay, as a world, as a people. So a lot of things out there, and 90% of it is going to be distraction. So don't forget that 90% of that is going to be distraction. So let's get some clarity. Show us what we need to know. Okay, there we go. Okay. And yeah, Valentine's weekend. I do have sessions available. If you go to www.oklahomahealingconnection.com, the schedule will show you everything I have for sessions and classes, and I'll be posting more classes this weekend. Okay. Alright, looks like this pile that I have right here is where we're going to start with. I am using Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors. It's one of my favorite decks to use, and I found it to be pretty reliable and dang accurate. So that's what the box looks like. And so, whoops, I guess I'll go ahead and move that and say hello, Mary. Our first card here is the Peacekeeper, and this is about letting go. Let me do it like this. Letting go of the need to be right. And when I'm looking at this card, though, I'm not really feeling it like you're wrong. I feel like more about, and I'm going to bring that out a little bit here. Looking at that buffalo. I live across the street from a herd of bison. And I'm going to just say they're the kind of animal that minds its own business. They stay within themselves and they mind their own business. They don't pay a lot of attention to the outside world unless there is an anomaly that's present. So this letting go of the need to be right is more about sitting back and looking from the outside in to what is going on in and around. So it's like this weekend, instead of, kind of being on a soapbox or your high horse or needing to be in control, it's saying to sit back and just watch, look, pay attention, be wise, pay attention to what's going on around you. Now, the obstacle here is going to be about your trusting in the unknown. So when we're looking from that peacekeeper, that need to be right, and we're looking into the obstacle of trusting in the unknown, is that you've been pretty gullible to things. That's the nicest way I can think of somebody ever saying, you've been, like Maris, you've been gullible, you believed anything. Humans, you've been gullible, you'll believe anything. And so this is this weekend that we're just not going to make judgment. Don't make judgment. It's reinforced here with this direction guardian, which is about choosing your path. And I'm going to say the beginning into going into this weekend, this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe into even Monday, it's saying sit back and don't make rash judgments. Sit back and don't make rash judgments. Now, the next line is where are we going to be in the middle of all of this? What's happening? What's going on? And I'm like, there's some good, and then there's like some obstacles. Okay, the good right here is the energy of where is this going to be, mid-weekend? What's it leading into? And it's talking about basking in joy and light, enjoying things, having a good time, kicking back. I'm not going to say being busy as a bee, but it's enjoying what's happening in your life. The weekend is great. You have a really good vibe. However, we have my boyfriend, but he's upside down, and he is in the obstacle. So this is not a weekend of great networking. I'm going to just say it like that. There's not going to be a lot of positive energy that's got total exchange going on this weekend. In fact, I'm kind of getting the feeling like some kind of growth, that there's some stunting going on. Maybe not so much a stunt, but a pause in how things flow. And then it leads into the medicine guardian is upside down, and this is about being open to healing information. And I'm going to say we're getting this really big push. Everybody's got a perspective on everything that's happening. Some of the craziest things that I've been, kind of just perusing the headlines, and then kind of going on social media, and there's just like so much information being thrown out there. And it's saying just to sit back and watch. That's what we're getting. A really heavy energy in is talking about sitting back and watching. Don't make rash decisions or judgments. Just sit back and watch how things unfold. You don't have to be in the middle of it. You're just watching it. You're observing. You're paying attention to how things flow. Now, where is this leading us into for the end of the weekend? What's that final result that we're expecting? And we actually have 4 cards on this row. And this first one is the Traveler upside down. And again, it's reinforcing what we've talked about in the last couple of lines, is that you're sitting back and just watching. You don't need to comment. You don't need to give energy to. Just sit back and watch. There is a great show. Great meaning big, not as an awesome. There is a big show that is going on, that things are unfolding all around us. And what you're doing is you're watching how people respond. You're watching how people respond. You're not acting, you're not imbibing, you're not engaging, you're just watching. You're having a good time with it. I have it, it's like kind of, I don't know if you've ever done this, but when I was younger, Go to the mall and put some sunglasses on so people would know that you're looking, but they don't know who you're looking at. They know you're staring, they know you're watching. But, we would sit there and kind of do that just to people watch and see how people reacted to things. It was always interesting. Now, the obstacle here is the sage is saying, be devoted, be committed, sit back. Sage is that person of wisdom, that person of knowledge and knowing where and when to do things. And that sage is just sitting there chilling, watching, kind of has a smirk on his face. And this is about you just watching how things roll out, not engaging, not imbibing, not getting into it. You're just going to be a watcher. And that's actually, like, I'm going to say, the safest place. The help card here, coming up into that, is the retreat and recharge card. You might even think about it as a recalibrate. Not a time to start stirring a pot or making rash decisions. It is a time to collect, to ground, to bring in discernment and watch how things fold out. The end result, so where we're going to be at the end of this, is that magic guardian. And I'm going to say this is being that one step ahead. This is that energy, that motion, that growth of winning. Coming out, like I said, that step ahead. You're in the place that you need to be, and provided that you not get into the middle of things during this time, will help you come out ahead, come out winning, come out holding that trophy. So, yes, it is a weekend of tests and trials, but this is like having your favorite drink, your favorite beverage, snack, whatever, and just people watching and watch how things roll out. The energy is, like I said, is very out of balance. So make sure that you're doing things like grounding, doing the energetic dry bathing, when you come and go from places, when people that have been kind of chaotic energy, make sure that you're brushing that off. I like to carry around a stone like a black tourmaline, a blue kyanite, a white selenite. I'll play with those, and in my hands, and I notice that I can really roll off a lot of the negative energy that might be going around, especially when I have to do a little research on the internet. And the internet already, just with the EMF, is just full of blah, 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 yuck stuff. And then when you're starting to read things like the Epstein files and Nancy Guthrie and the Save Act and all of these beefs and with people in Hollywood, I was very, very sad that James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek passed away. Very, very sad. I had actually back in the summer had a Reiki class, and he was my subject for distance Reiki. I was sending him distance Reiki for a while, and now I'm like, I fell off the wagon on that. So pay attention this weekend. Just sit back, enjoy, watch the show, do your popcorn, drink your favorite beverage, whatever that you do, and just sit back and watch. You don't have to engage. Do not make rash decisions. Things to that effect, okay? So peace, love, and harmony. I hope to see you very soon.